Alright, what is up everybody? Shadow Scout 0013 here coming in with a video on the top 8 lists that were at LSO this past weekend. So if you want to check that out, I'm about to just kind of discuss the types of lists that were there and a little bit of the analytics for you guys to just be able to see. I'll try to make it short. Hopefully you enjoyed the video with Grant earlier this week and kind of listen to him about his experience and him winning the hobby painting for the heavy category. So if you haven't checked that out, go ahead and check it out. And yeah, so just real quick, if you haven't headed to the Discord yet, head on over there and become a member. It's free, easy, and all you have to do is just talk away. Just chat about whatever you want, and if you've got, questions about lists, feel free to put something in there. If you, are wanting to discuss anything about CIS, Shadow Collective, Republic, Rebels, feel free to post. Some of you guys are always in there, so yeah. And if you paint a lot, feel free to get some painting in. This is, like I said, Grant winning with the painting competition, so congrats to him. But yeah, and if you haven't, you can head on to the Patreon. There you'd be able to support the channel and get some of the videos early. I'm going to be trying to do YouTube memberships if I can, and if that's the case, I'll probably get rid of the Patreon and just do that and get you guys stuff early and do members only content a little bit more since it's all in one spot. But yeah, if you guys want, I'll go ahead and talk about the different lists. So, as of right now, we've got the top 8 right here. So, Colton came in first. We have Cesar coming in second, Jonathan in third, Joshua fourth, Larry Light fifth, Adam Lishman sixth, RSI, forgot the first name. I forgot his name. But Malejo coming in 7th, and then Randy coming in 8th with a Shadow Collective list, which, I'm super excited about myself. But yeah, there's a lot here. There we go. Sorry. A lot here that we're going to kind of go over. So let's take a look at the quick statistics that I wanted to bring up. So first off, we've got the fact that Empire came in at, 11 players. And Republic came in at 11 players. Rebels came in at 6 players. CIS at 5, and Shadow Collective at 3. So it's very interesting to see with the fact that Sleeper Cells and Aquas and Droidicas and all this other stuff in CIS and Rebels are very prominent everywhere. It's kind of interesting to see the fact that, Republic and Empire were, there were a lot more lists and a lot more players that were doing Republic and Empire. So I think it's cool. I think it's great. Red saves for the win. Haha. But yeah, I'm happy to see a lot more Empire. And I'll kind of go over what we've seen a lot in Empire and whatnot. But there's one thing that I definitely wanted to show off, and that was Bad Batch. So there were 10 bad batches. 10 bad batches in the entire tournament, and 8 of them were a part of Republic, 2 of them were part of the Rebels. So if 8 of them were in Republic, that means that there were only 3 Republic lists that did not have Bad Batch. And then with Rebels, there were 4 of them out of the 6, so more, that didn't have them. But we're basically seeing Bad Batch in almost every Republic list. So I think that is something to kind of take away. With Empire, let's see, is Vader on here at all? I think we probably saw quite a bit of Vaders on there. And yeah, there's a lot of other stuff that's on there that if you wanted to look up, I can leave the link down below for the tournament. But let's take a look at the top 2, Republic lists. So the Colton, who wound up winning, brought the Obi-Wan Kenobi list with the Bad Batch and Clone Commander Cody. Force Barrier, Improvise, Into the Fray on Obi-Wan Kenobi. And if you missed any of the games, feel free to check out Endless, the Winter War Gaming on YouTube. Check him out and his streams. Awesome guy. Does a fantastic job at streaming. And Colton was on quite a bit, so you'll be able to kind of get a good idea of how he played Obi-Wan, Cody, and the Bad Batch. So Cody had Trusted Agent and Seize Initiative, which I think if you're bringing Bad Batch, you're probably bringing Trusted Agent somehow, some way. So this is a great way to be able to bring an extra order token for the Bad Batch. And I think Improvised Orders, the fact that there are 2 command slots on here in this list is amazing, because Improvised Orders almost should be taken in every list at this point. You know, when Star Wars Legion first came out, I was like, I don't really need Improvised Orders, but now with the way things are, I think Improvised Orders is almost a must. He had 2 units with the DB-23. One of them had Ahsoka as well, and then 2 units of Z6 clone troopers and 3 units of Barks with the RPS gunner. So the Barks made a huge comeback with this tournament in this list, and I think he did a great job with it, because, you know, having the RPS not have a fixed front is absolutely amazing to have, especially with the Compulse. I'm sure that if he had more points for Strike and Fade, maybe he would have brought it, but I'm not sure. Hopefully he can do a video and talk about his list himself. I'd love to see his explanations. If not, maybe one day I can try to get an interview with him. But for now, this is an amazing list, and it is, I can't see the bottom, 10 activations. And yeah, I feel like that is for Gar, that is the sweet spot. And if you can get more, that's even better. But yeah, I think 10 activations is a really good spot to be at, especially with the Bad Batch and Obi-Wan in there, having almost everything. But yeah, so that is first place, having the Bad Batch. Second place was Caesar, also having Bad Batch. And Yoda and Rex. So I have no doubt that, and I think that there's a video on the Winter War Gaming of Caesar as well on there, and you can kind of see what he did, I think, giving Yoda the scouting party along with the Bad Batch, obviously. And then you've got 3 naked clone troopers, and then you have 2 ARC troopers with the medic, E-stims, and the impact grenades, and then 2 ATRTs with the laser cannon. So lots of ways to get lots of impact through. This is another 10 activation list, and Yoda having Mind Trick, Burst, and Force Push definitely makes him a more aggressive Yoda, in my opinion. And so you're welcome to watch those, games with him on there, and kind of figure out how he played. But I think this is a pretty common list, just to see Bad Batch in every Republic list. And then Yoda and Obi-Wan seem to be doing really well right now. So if you're interested in those units, now's the time to kind of pair them up, and I think the Bad Batch is a great thing to pair them up with. So if we go to Jonathan, he was the top Rebel player, and to no surprise, I think seeing Lando, the Bad Batch, in there, and definitely some sleeper cells. I think those are your top units in Rebels right now. Coming in at 12 activations with, Luke, Commander Luke with Into the Fray and Prepared Supplies. You had Lando with Improvised Orders. You had Ahsoka with Burst, Tenacity, and Into the Fray. You had the Bad Batch with Omega. You have a Rebel Veteran Squad with the Heavy, and then a Mark II, as well as 2 Naked Rebel Troopers. You had 2 Sleeper Cells with Targeting Scopes, a Rebel Commandos with the Proton Charge Saboteur, and then a Strike Team with the Sniper. The snipers, I feel like, are a little slept on. I think they're still good, and people should be using them in some lists to get the chip shots in real quick. I really like the snipers in Republic with Anakin to trigger Tempted a little bit easier and earlier on, obviously because there's only 2 minis. And so if they want to take out the strike team, which has lethal and high velocity, to shut down the Jedi, being able to use that surge to defend in a ranged attack. It's a great way to, get that extra move or attack in before Anakin goes himself, or after he goes, if you need to score a POI. So this is a great way to kind of trigger some stuff. And again, long range, really easy way to start doing some damage early on. But yeah, this is a great Rebel list, 12 activations. The fact that you're fitting Luke, Lando, Ahsoka, and the Bad Batch all in this this one list with 2 sleeper cells, yeah, there's a lot that you can fit in Rebels, and I think is really good. So this is the top performing Rebel list. So if we also take a look at Joshua, the first and top Empire player, went to 5-1. He was playing, let's see, is this it? Sorry, guys. Yep, this is it. All right, so while that is loading for some reason, let's see if I can refresh it. There we go. All right, so he had Moff Gideon with the Darksaber. He had a Shore Trooper with the DLT. So, all right, so this is the Imperial Remnant Battle Force, which I keep hearing is the best Empire Battle Force right now to be playing, because the fact that you can interchange the heavies and put whatever heavies you want anywhere, and then the fact that Scout Troopers, I think, can benefit along with the Death Troopers from Imperial March because of the fact that they are considered core units. Yeah, it is just insane right now to be able to give those Scout Troopers, Scout 3, a Speed 2 move, and then another Scout or another Speed 3 move to get into a good position, and then charge if you had to. They don't really have the best, it's 1 black dice per with charge. But yeah, you could be using them to score very easily at some points that are just kind of out of range. But yeah, they're really good, especially with the T-21, to be able to give critical 2 with the amount of dice they're going to be throwing, because then that's already 8 black dice plus another 4 dice, so that's 12 dice that you're going to be rolling critical 2. It's so good. And then you've got 3 Dark Troopers in this list with Programmed Loyalty and the Assault Cannon, which I think is the best, obviously the best heavy that you can bring with Dark Troopers. And to go any more is to make them super expensive, and then you're probably just going to bring the Imperial Dark Trooper, personnel if you want another mini. But I was interested to try to see if I could watch a game with this guy, and I don't remember if he was on or not on one of the streams, but this is a very, very good list, and 3 Dark Troopers to give you a total of 13 activations technically is a really strong list. Even though you have 10 activations on the board, if your opponent had 12 activations, you still get a pass token even though you have 13 activations. So Dark Troopers, I think, are going to make a huge comeback soon, with the fact that you can cheat the system and get more pass tokens if you needed to the moment anything falls. And then to be able to give Shore Troopers the DLT 19 and a free aim token, because anything that's out of range 2 of Moff Gideon at the moment gets a free aim or dodge. This is so good. Same with all of these guys. Giving a free aim to anything in Empire is going to be very, very helpful, especially Stormtroopers, with the fact that they got Precise 1 is going to be super nice to have. So yeah, Imperial Remnant being the best Empire list. The top CIS list from Larry had General Grievous with Tenacity and Prepared Supplies, had Kalani with Improvised Orders. It had 2 B2 Super Squads with B2 ACM Heavy, so just the regular heavy, nothing crazy, giving you 2 units at 165 each. It's a pretty expensive unit, but I mean, that's a ton of health, 2 health each, and you've got the 3, 4, 8 minis in there, so 16 health and about 17 dice at range 2. And then you're welcome to change out, any of those for the wrist rockets to gain impact up to whatever you need. These guys are a menace, and the fact that he's got 2 of those is super good. He's got 2 Naked B1 droids. He's got a Magna Guard with just the regular guy, none of the crazy heavies, just to, I'm sure, get an extra body for the Guardian. And then being able to get the retinue is also really, really nice. But also having a melee threat in there is going to be really good. But I think to be able to get General Grievous in there with no wounds, having just this guy, it seems to me like he's mostly using it for the Guardian because there is no real heavy in there. It's just the free extra guy. Well, not free, but it's just the extra guy. So To me, that just yells, hey, I'm here to Guardian, and I'm here to kind of mess things up, but I'm not here to do a ton of crazy work. Just make sure my guys get in there and, cause a little disruption. The Crab Droid, he's got one of them in there with engagement protocols, and the Heavy Laser Cannon with Impact 3, range 1 to 3 gun, which is really, really nice. And to have the engagement protocols makes me think that he's a pretty aggressive attack droid, Crab Droid, and probably giving that scout to General Grievous to be able to get Grievous in there for that 1-pip attack. And then he's got a Spider Droid with attack protocols and the mounted Ion Blaster, because without Ion, you're losing out a bit, because I think Ion is extremely good right now, especially with the amount of armor everyone's bringing. And the Aqua Droids, the Droids army in general, vehicles, it's just so good. So I think the Nose-Mounted Ion Blaster is properly priced, and definitely the Door Spider Droid is a good choice. And then obviously you have an Aqua Droid with the heavy and link targeting array to be able to give that thing a free aim. And I would probably be giving that thing an order with the Kalani, direct AI unit. Give this Aqua Droid an order, give it an aim, let it move and shoot, and then you still have that aim on him. And yeah, it's just so good not to have. So yeah, this is a great list for CIS, and it wound up being the top CIS player, 4-2 with Larry. The second best Empire player would be Adam. And he wound up playing a Commander Vader list with Burst of Speed, Force Push, and Saber Throw, which I think are the best top 3, upgrades that you can bring on Commander Vader. And then Inspiring Presence is just topping it off to get that Infinite Courage bubble on everybody, especially when you need to use the Compel, which I think was used quite a bit. So I know that he was on stream. So if you wanted to check out how this game went, you can feel free to go check that out. I think he was at least game 1 for sure, day 1, and you can get a good idea of how the units did. He's got Director Krennic naked. He's got Callus with Into the Fray, which I think is super appropriate because of the fact that Callus is going to be getting in there fairly quickly, and he's going to need some sort of help, either offensive or defensively. Obviously, Into the Fray, I would use more defensively with anything. But, yeah, I think that's one of the best upgrades. So, 4 Snowtroopers with the Ion. And this came in handy quite a bit against Colton, I think, is who we played first. Or I'm not exactly sure who. Oh, it was against the Tempest Force. Yeah, so this was like the best list to go against Tempest Force because of the fact that you had 4 Ion Troopers that could be compelled if they were suppressed by Vader. And then you had 2 Riot Squads with the KX Security Droid and Imperial March to give them that extra boost of speed in order to charge in. You had 2 Dewback Raiders with the Flame, which I personally like the Flame over all the other guns at this point now, mostly because of the fact that you're probably going to be going after core units or special forces units. You're not going to be going after the commander or operative or anything like that with the Dewback Rider because you have Vader and you have Callus. So those 2 can kind of go more toe-to-toe with other commander operatives if need be. Callus with his 1-pip especially. And then you've got a speeder bike unit in here. Random speeder bike. Naked speeder bike, which is fine, great and dandy because they can still do a lot of work. And with the command cards, bringing all of Vader's cards, which I think you do anyway because he is your best player and your best mini in this list. And the third and best Empire player, going 4-2, brought another Commander Vader, which I think, again, Commander Vader is top tier right now. Everyone seems to want to be bringing him. And he designed his Vader a little bit differently than I would. I would design it just kind of like Adam did. But we've got RS Man, I saw him on stream and now I can't remember. I'm sorry. Don't hate me. But he had Darth Vader with force reflexes, burst of speed, fear, and inspiring presence. I think fear, especially for the 3-pip turn where he's handing out a ton of suppression, is great. He was actually able to deny Obi-Wan Guardian in melee because he suppressed Obi-Wan a lot with the 3 suppression, which was an insanely good move. That was a very appropriate time to use that card, and giving him a dodge and everything. I think that was a great one. And with fear, being able to hand out an extra suppression was a really good idea. Now, you're kind of stuck where you are after burst of speed, and you have no attack other than that. So you're just hopefully in a melee where no one's going to be able to get away, or else you're just kind of screwed. So it's a big risk, but there's lots of ways to at least hand out suppression and do what you need to prevent others from getting 2 actions. And then you had 2 riot squads with the KX droid and the Imperial March, which I think is your standard build for riot squads now. You had 2 snowtroopers with the Ion Trooper and the entire squad, and impact grenades and Imperial March. So a big squad of snows. Really good. And then 2 really giant squads of stormtroopers with the T-21. So you're throwing a ton of white dice, but you're trying to go for crits here because you've got critical 1 and impact 1 with the Ion, and then you've got critical 2 with the T-21, and precise, being able to have that aim in there, and red saves, which is all you need. So I think there's, 70-something wounds altogether in this list, which is really good, and 3 dewback riders with the T-21. I think one of them, he said, was supposed to be an RT-97 C, and that was kind of like an error in uploading his list, but I guess he knew and explained it to the other players that he was playing. But yeah, I think I'm not a fan of the T-21. Yes, it gives you critical 2, which is so good, because then you have a 25% chance of landing a crit on each dice, if I'm not mistaken, because there's a surge and a crit, so that's two faces on 8 dice. That's 1 out of 4. Yeah, 25% chance of getting a crit on each dice, and rolling 4, averaging 1 isn't bad, and it's obviously getting through cover. But I like the flame because it just makes more sense. You're just rolling a ton of dice, if there's not enough guys to justify the 2 dice, then you just use your normal main attack, which is 3 red and 3 white, critical 2, suppressive, and melee. So, yeah, dewbacks are just so good, and Vader is so good. I think you're going to see those almost in every Empire list. Obviously, the best list right now was the Imperial Remnant list. And then the top 8, the last one, I'm happy to see, was a Shadow Collective list. Wow, that's so good. That's so much fun to have. So I'm happy to see that, Shadow Collective came in the top 8. And to look at this, we have Maul with Burst, Choke, Improvised, Into the Fray, and the Darksaber. Almost my exact build, minus Improvised and Burst. I use Push. But yeah, Burst of Speed is really good because then you can use his 3-pip to get rid of that Immobilized token and heal if you needed to. And then so there's no downside to Burst of Speed whatsoever except to having to play a command card your next turn to get rid of that Immobilized token. So that's the only consequence to using Burst of Speed. And it kind of forces your hand to play that card early if you had to. But yeah, I think it is a really good build, and having Improvise on Maul and then another Improvise on a Pike Capo really allows you to have that order control that you really want in a battle force that doesn't allow good order control whatsoever. And then I think having a Pike Capo with Improvise and another one with Lead by Example, this is a build that I have come to really like over the past several months, over the past month, I should say, when taking two Pike Capos. the lead by example is really helpful, especially against, droidicas or Empire when they want to just hand out tons of suppression. So this is a great way to make sure that your Courage 1, pikes get 2 actions. So 4 foot soldiers with the P-13 disruptor and the pike foot soldier for that free cache aim. This is a really good setup for the pikes, getting that range 4 with the foot soldiers, and then a free cache aim with extra guy makes for a really deadly shot. And then I think he played, Maul's 3-pip, seize what power we can, round 1 to be able to get those free aims and surges for kind of like an alpha strike in a way. If there was a possibility to put, recon intel on at least 1 or 2 of the pike foot soldiers, I think that would have been even better. But when you're going up against Bad Batch several times, probably, you don't want recon because anything past 2 inches off the board is going to get hit. Because I've said it over and over again, if they have Scout 2 from Rex, your threat zone is insane. It's 34 inches? 36 inches? No, let's see. Yeah, so let's see. 6 plus 16, so 22 plus another 12, 34. Okay, so yeah, 2 inches off the board is the only way that you can move onto the board without getting shot, but then you're so far away from any of the POIs that you're probably not going to make it. And then you aren't not even going to get a range 4 shot off of anything unless they moved up quite a bit. So, yeah. So only recon intel if you're not going against Bad Batch, but hey, that's very situational. 3 swoop bike riders. 2 of them have spotter uplink to be able to give sharpshooter 1 to these pikes, and then all 3 of them have strike and fade so that they can get off that extra overrun attack, which is so good because it cannot be Guardian. It can be used against anything that is immune to range 1, like the Flutters and or Lats, and it's not technically an attack. So this is such a great way to be able to get off extra dice because you're going to be rolling basically 10 dice per round if you can get off both overrun attacks, because you've got 4, if you got both of them, 4 dice from the heavy blaster, and then another 3 dice for 1 overrun attack, and then another 3 dice for another overrun attack. So yeah, they're squishy, because there's only 3 health, white dice that do surge, yes, and cover 1, which almost does nothing, almost. So you're kind of hoping that you're not seeing quite a bit, but they can do some real damage when they get in your lines, and there's no answer for it, especially when you've got 2 AA5 speeder trucks coming in at you. One of them with the raiding party leader and the range 4 heavier laser retrofit with critical 1, and then another one with the door gunner, frenzied gunner, and the quad laser. And the frenzied gunner you're using for the quad laser to roll 7 dice, and then you're also using the frenzied gunner to roll 5 dice with the door gunner. So you're rolling a ton of dice, which is so good, and especially paired with Maul's 3-pip for a free aim and 3 surges. If you were able to go with the speeder truck to move and then shoot, well, now you have a free aim, and then you have free 3 surges to use on this strike, dealing a ton of damage. And the more that you can use this truck to shoot, you're constantly going to be doing so much damage. It's 102 points, but it's a very deadly truck, and it's still armor 5, which is hard to bring down unless you have ion and lots of impact. This thing's going to be taking out a unit or 2. For 102 points, it's not terrible, and for a line of sight blocker, that's pretty good. So the longer this lasts, the more deadlier it's going to be, which is another reason why I think he was also doing so well. Another reason being is because it's 12 activations, and then another reason being is because with Raiding Party Leader, everything's got Demoralize, and it's handing out a suppression at range 2 when they activate, and then they can shoot, handing out another suppression, and then they can just start whooping with their sticks, their vibro axes, all along while the range 4 pikes are poking at you, if not at range 3, and then you have Maul to worry about. So this whole list is packed with threats, but kind of fragile threats. They're all rolling white dice except for Maul. So if you can get a lot of hits through and survive, then you'll probably do pretty well. But as we're seeing over, at least in Worlds, when Ollie was playing this, not this particular list exactly, but double bus, 3 swoop bike riders, it does very well. It's just kind of hard to bring it down and pick what you want to shoot against because you've got so many threats coming in at you. You have to maneuver your lists really well, and if you don't have a way to maneuver your lists fairly well, then you're kind of screwed. But unless you got a lot of area terrain which blocks line of sight and or line of sight blockers, then you're going to do okay. But yeah, this list is going to poke at you from afar and then get up all in your face with the swoop bikes and the speeder trucks. So this is a really good list. Kudos to you for making this. And, you know, a maul with choke is still super deadly. And burst of speed to be able to get in there fairly quickly. I never bring burst of speed on there personally because you have infiltrate already. And if someone already just makes a move out of their range band, you're already going to be 9 inches. Let's see, it's 9 inches to off of the deployment zone, right? And then you move another 12 inches from there. And so you're getting, 21 inches from your side of the board. And like I said, each one is 36. So you don't necessarily have to have burst of speed to get into the fight almost immediately. I've been able to infiltrate, double move, and I'm already in contact and swinging away round 1. It's just a matter of where you decide to place Maul and how you decide to use him. But I think burst of speed is still a good choice, again, because the only downside to it is having to play a command card that takes it off of you, and then you're good to go. So yeah. So that is the top 8 for LSO and their lists. And obviously Colton went 6-0. The second place went 5-1. Second, third, and fourth all went 5-1, I should say. And then the rest of the guys went 4-2. So if you're looking to get into a tournament, these are the top lists. These are a lot of the top, units: Bad Batch, Commander Vader, Imperial Remnant, Grievous, and Dewbacks, Sleeper Cells. Those are all doing really, really well. So that is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want, feel free, please, to head on over to the Discord and just start talking away, start asking questions. Feel free to, ask us whatever you need. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. And I hope this was a kind of a short video for you. All right. Peace out, guys.